Alright, what's poppin', people? We're back. And today, I've got my round 1 games from the NU kickoff tournament. And I was talking about a few videos ago. I got matched up against Ruby Candy, and, you know, I haven't played a singles tour in quite some time. But for, like, any format. I think the last time I played in a singles tournament would have been, I think, 2021? Maybe? It was either 21 or 22 in a winter seasonal for Cap. Which I won, mind you, through the winner's bracket. Goat. Yep, that's me. Anyhow. I wasn't really too sure if I wanted to play in this tournament. But I kind of just decided, you know what? Now's as good a time as any to actually get back into the state of competitive mons, especially being that I'm a tier leader. I feel like I should at least participate in these, even if I'm not a huge tours person, because I'll let y'all in a little secret. I get terrible anxiety when I'm about to play these tournaments, and so that's why I generally just don't like signing up for them anymore. Because I'm like, I don't really want to feel miserable for an entire day when I'm about to play a game of mons. You know, just not that fun. That's too much stress. Whereas with the latter, I don't care if I win or lose games. I think y'all see that all the time. Even when I'm getting packed up by some kid, I'm just kind of like, alright. You know, let's go next. But I wanted to at least try it here. And here's my coverage of this first series. So, I brought the Rain team again. Y'all will remember this from, I think, last video. But this team was really fun. And I didn't really know what to expect out of my opponent. So I figure, you know what? It's round 1 of a tournament. I could get away with some hyper offense. And I like the Rain team. I think it's pretty good. My opponent just brought some very normal looking balance with a nice little Choice Scarf Passimian, I would assume. Choice Band Mabastiff. A Scyther, which I don't remember if its item gets revealed in this game or not. But, I mean, if we're going to reevaluate, this could be like Bulk Up Pass Scarf Scyther. I'm just unsure with Scyther's current move pool situation how good Scarf sets will be, especially in conjunction with how there is a dearth of good entry hazard removers. I don't think Scarf Scyther on a sword team would be good, so you'd probably assume instead heavy duty boots. And then he's got like standard defensive core of a Kaparaja. Maybe it's like Whirlwind or Protect with 3 attacks, because I'd assume Sandaconda's the stealth rocker. It could also be Rocks on Raja, and then Coil Conda, and he's just got a nice little Vaporeon. I won't go too in depth on this team of ours here, because y'all have seen it if you've watched the video. If you haven't seen that video yet, go watch it. It's a great video. But, you know, Nasty Plot Golduck, Rain Dance Electrode, Sword Stance Qwilfish, Rain Dance Murkrow, Choice Scarf Rotom, and then just Stealth Rock on Cloth. And I'm going to lead Electrode because, from how it was described to play this team, it seemed like just going Electrode immediately and getting your Rain was always going to be the best choice. And so I opted to just do that. I did run a damage calc. I had a shot to live Earthquake, though if I did, I was just going to go for an Explosion next turn anyway, so I didn't view it as too useful. And then here I go for Nasty Plot, because I know it's kind of unlikely, in my eyes, they keep Conda in. I just feel like sacking a Pokemon too early isn't really that worth it, when you instead could just preserve. Now, they did go hard into Scyther here. Now, this is really good for me, because I outspeed and KO this with any attack I want to go for. So I just go for a nice little Ice Beam versus this, as they then go into their Vaporeon. Now, these do run Haze pretty frequently, but I did expect them to go for Protect on the first turn, just to try to stall out a turn of Rain, because at +2, Grass Knot, I believe, still... I don't remember if it's consistently 2-hit KOing. It might depend on EV spread a little bit. I'd have to reconfirm that. But at +4, yeah, you do a lot. And so I know the Haze is coming out now, but we go for damage. And I go for Plot here. And this time, I actually do go for Grass Knot, because I kind of expect them to go... I expect them to get a little greedy there and go for a Haze, predicting me to know they were going to Protect. You see, gotta get in our opponent's head. Now, personally, if I'm this guy, I probably would always just Protect there anyway. Because you stall out the Rain turn, and then if you could at least have it so Rain isn't up, you could threaten the Revenge Kill with Passimian the next turn. I do still get the play, though. Yeah, I think it's just a little aggressive. But chalk it up to a loss 50-50. And now my Golduck gets to just pick another Pokemon to KO. So he actually tears with his Conda and does live the Surf. But my Golduck does a whole bunch, and it still tanks a crit Earthquake here to then KO on the next turn with Surf. So we have KO'd half his team with my little duck. And now he goes into Big Boy Mabastiff. This Mon is incredibly broken. He's super fast, he has Stakeout, just very unpleasant. But I do know now, I get to go Murkrow, I get to set my Rain, and now I just sack the Murkrow. I'm just gonna let it basically die here. I go for a Feather Dance. I didn't decide to take this as a turn to go Cloth. Now, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I don't know why I went Cloth here, instead of just sacking Murkrow. I think, no, you know what? I remember now. The reason I went Cloth instead of sacking Murkrow is because I did want to have the option to set Rain again if it came down to that. And I figure I go Cloth, Raja's not going to Oko me with its Heavy Slam because of the Feather Dance, and I can get my Stealth Rock up, and that does help with putting Mabastiff into KO range from my Qwilfish's Liquidation. It also helps start getting chip damage even on the Passimian. And he U-turns on my Cloth back into Raja. As I said, I get Stealth Rock up, so now that Mabastiff is going to always get KO'd. I believe even without a Swords Dance boost was the calc. As we see too, this Copper Raja does so little damage with Heavy Slam. And I get a nice little Crab Hammer crit, so you know what? This is the only time I've clicked Crab Hammer with this Cloth so far. So hey, we did a little bit something here. As you can see now, I'm gonna just go Qwilfish, and we're going to clean up late game. The Passimian is not going to be able to do anything, but I do want to make sure, if he Earthquakes, that I don't sack, because I'm about to lose my Rain, right? And then he goes Mabastiff on the Volt Switch, and I just get to set my Rain again, and now for sure, we're going to have Qwilfish to clean up. I think I could have Terra'd versus the Passimian, and just gone for Terra Liquidation. I think that would have... I still am pretty sure, though, I don't KO. If I'm remembering the damage calc right, unboosted still was like 77 to 80 something. So it wasn't a guarantee. And I just wanted to play it a little safe, just in case. Because, again, I didn't need to risk getting like crit or something by a CC maybe if he gets really aggressive. And I knew I could always go Rotom, even if he knocks as I go Rotom, it doesn't matter. Even if he goes into Mabastiff on like, you know, he was saying he should have U-turned. Even if he does that, as he goes Mabastiff and I go Rotom, all I'm gonna do is just go for Shadow Ball. Just make sure that I, you know, don't miss or anything, can still get a little chip. It wouldn't have mattered. But I'd, you know, just ultimately play it as safe as you can. And then we've gone into my Murkrow, I would have set the Rain back up, and then I believe I would have been able to finish the game from there. And now we go to game 2, and I brought Rain again. I really wanted to showcase this team off more, because I think it's a really strong build. In spite of how pathetic it may look from a power level standpoint, because like, look at these two teams here. You see Copper Raja, you see Goodra, even Magneton and Scyther for NFEs are really strong. You see a Venomoth. Like, this dude's team looks like it could have been an RU team, even. You know, maybe you view a lower power level generation, these are all, like, at least RU. And you look at my team, I have a Golduck! All of the Pokemon on my team that are not new have historically been really bad. Only Rotom has really seen consistent in-use success. I guess you could look at Qwilfish from generations 2 through 5. It was in UU, but, you know, more recently, within the last decade, that one's always been just buns. Anyhow, again, I look at this, you know, I'm looking at his team and I'm like, okay, Rain's maybe a little worse this game, but it's only marginally worse. I'm not looking at it as some, like, super dire matchup for me. Because Goodra, you know, it could be Assault Vest, it could even be just some generally bulkier set with heavy-duty boots. It could also be Specs, if you're thinking it's like, you know, he's trying to set the Venomoth for success with a Specs Goodra and then a Magneton to trap. And then even Scyther helps kind of overwhelm a few shared checks. You know, anything that tears into a Steel type, or just any of the few Steels we do have. So that's kind of my thought process here. And once again, I do lead off with the Electrode because I'm just not worried about anything turn 1. Because, you know, look at my opponent's team. What's threatening me? What's threatening my Electro turn 1? So he sees Gudra. I do, again, there's in the back of my head, I'm like, he could be AV and go for Dragon Tail here. But I still set up a light screen, because I figure that's the best option. And we actually see that he is Specs. So this is really good for me. I'm going to be able to tank those Dracos with ease and then just go for Explosion on the next turn. I do kind of wish that I had, instead of setting the screen, maybe done like Rain Dance turn 1, let Electrode get O-Code and then go hard Golduck and Nasty Plot. Because if we're being honest, Golduck 6-0s if I had done that. I mean, barring Terra shenanigans, right? Anything can Terra and resist a hit. But I actually do get a much more nice situation here, because the light screen actually gives me a lot of extra bulk versus that Magneton. And since this was a Violet, it took my Surf real easily. And we just get KO'd the next turn. And he goes Scyther. Apparently at the wrong Terra type, but I did do the calcs, and I always needed to Surf here anyway. I don't know what his Terra type would have been otherwise, but Surf was even doing more than Ice Beam under the rain. And he's going to make a good prediction here. Sawsbuck immediately doubles into the Raja, but as we know from last game, my Cloth is very, very bulky, and so I always can go into it versus this Copper Raja, and I go for my Rocks again. I just want to make sure that I can get any chip on, like, Gudra, really, because it's the one Mon that I'm somewhat concerned could tank a hit. Not, like, overly concerned, because Gudra's physical bulk isn't too good. And since he's Terra'd with a Scyther, I don't even have to worry about that randomly Terastallizing into... I mean, okay, it can't Terra into anything Qwilfish cares about, but... I don't have to worry about maybe something else Terraing. Or Gudra Terraing and starting to do even more damage. But I get my right with my Murkrow now. Rotom comes in. I see his team. He has no good Thunder switch in, so I'm just going to start Thundering. And I did check the calcs as well for my Qwilfish. Terra Liquidation under Rain sends this Gudra into the Shadow Realm. So I just immediately Sword Stance here because I know that he's going to have to switch. I should have specified at +2, by the way, is when this gets packed up. Yeah, now I Sword Stance up. He gets super caught off guard, and yeah, now my Qwilfish just says, good night. Good night to everything. You know, I'm under Rain, so nothing gets to outspeed me. And I've just got my team set up to success here. Gudra is... This is KOing Gudra from, like, 90, even. You know? And he goes Sawsbuck last, and I don't even risk a Gunk Shot miss. We're not playing that game. You've seen my luck with this move. You know what happens when I try to use Gunk Shot versus, you know, normal Gunk Shot targets. It just doesn't work. So we play it safe, and we do get to clean up late game with the Qwilfish. I hope you guys did enjoy this. Like I said, I normally don't play tournaments anymore, just because I don't really enjoy how I feel having to prep for them. But every now and then, I do like to still provide y'all some tournament coverage that's actually me playing them, because I think giving the insight of the battler is a lot more interesting than watching another tournament game and going like, I think not my opponent, I think this player was, you know, considering X, Y, or Z. You know, I might be right. I also might just be putting my own thoughts into their head, while my opponent was just deciding, oh yes, I clicked this move because I wanted to, :P. You know, sometimes you attribute too much logic to certain plays. But, like I said, I hope y'all enjoyed this. I'll have a round 2 video up within a few days, because this is a no-Johns tournament. So the rounds, I believe, are only supposed to be 4 days long each. So yeah, that's it from me. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.